as you can see, there's been an improvement.
Yeah. The abstract art is gone.
For a while. And with that improvement,
I mean, it's different.
it's time for some mental clarity.
We have that?
No.
Yeah, fair.
But people who are narcissistic in relationships want to think they do.
Okay, after you.
I mean, as always, in the media, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, you can see those lovely couples that post 24/7. I'm sure it's popped up at least 100 times on your feed. Yeah. Same with mine. And it's always interesting when, this is gonna sound bad, when they break up. And when they break up is when all the masks, all the acting of them being so much caring about each other goes straight down the drain, and we can see their true selves, and we can see that today narcissism is a huge problem on its own. But it's even a bigger problem when it's in relationships. And I'm sure most of you, or I hope most of you, have gone away from that whole experience. I'm sure you've had at least a partner who was narcissistic. Maybe you were the narcissist in that relationship. But I know for a fact that we all experienced that at one point in our life. And the problem with narcissism in relationships is that, at least I believe that relationships should be a safe space, and I hate this fucking word, but it should be a safe space, a safe haven, where you truly care for the other person, and the other person cares about you without any restrictions, without any expectations. The only thing they expect from you is that you are going to be yourself, and the only gain that they're gonna get from the relationship is that they're gonna feel loved, they're gonna feel safe. However, as I said earlier, it's more prevalent today to go into a relationship just because you have a gain, like you can gain something from it. And most people nowadays go into relationships with the only thought of not loving the person, but abusing the love they get from the person without actually giving the same love back. And I don't know if you agree with this, but to me that's a huge problem. And there's this whole movement today of how relationships are basically a scam. And although I kind of agree with it, I think it's mostly because of the whole narcissism in the relationships. The problem is not the relationship itself, it's the person you decide to get into a relationship with. Some people don't understand that you can choose if you're in a relationship with a person. And it hurts me when I hear that someone's going through a rough time, where they know that their partner is abusive, they're a narcissist, they're just using everyone against them, and people still stay in that relationship just because of the whole mentality, I can change them. There's a thing that I truly believe in. You should never try to change a person if you're trying to go into a relationship with them. At least not change their core of who they are. Because you do not fall in love with a person then, you fall in love with the concept of a person then. If you think you can change a narcissist, I'm sorry to say, but you're wrong. I can go on for hours, but do you have something to add?
You want to pass on the torch?
Do you have something to add?
I chuckled earlier when you talked about all the posterity that narcissistic couples usually do. A thing that I've always noticed, I'm sure you've noticed, I'm sure even the viewers have noticed, that the couples that stay together and have been together for years and years and years are the ones who have zero social media presence.
Yeah, true.
If you go on either of their profiles, you won't find a single picture of them together. And yet they've been together for years. And then you look at narcissist couples, they post every day.
Yep.
Every activity they do, every meal they eat, everywhere they go, whatever it is, every breath you take, I'll be watching you. Doesn't matter.
I'll be recording you more like.
Yeah. No, they seek external confirmation that look how good everything is.
Yeah.
They seek external validation. That's not what you should seek in a relationship. If your relationship is good, it should be good because of the relationship, not because other people think so. And another thing I want to mention about narcissistic characters that I've noticed, a lot of them go into relationships not because they should be in relationships, but because they can't live without a relationship.
Yeah.
And this is just sad. It's sad because most of them don't even realize that. How many people get into relationships not because they need to be in a relationship, because they can't live outside a relationship. And it's just, I don't want to call it pathetic. It's sad because you don't value yourself fully, you don't know yourself fully, so you want to get all the validation from the other person. You dedicate your entire being to the other person, which shouldn't happen in a relationship. That only happens in movies. We talked earlier.
Yeah.
I think it was like 5 or 6 videos ago.
Yeah, you can just go in the channel. It's in the title.
Yeah. How movies basically ruined modern relationships and modern dating. Movies or media or whatnot generally give people this concept that if you're in love, you should dedicate your entire being to the other person. No, that's not how relationships work. And narcissistic people usually do that. So when they don't experience a return, it's a total shutdown. Everything goes, well, what? You not agree?
I don't think that narcissists actually do that. I believe that narcissists in a relationship expect that to be done for them, but they don't do that for the other person. That's why they're the narcissist.
Not necessarily. A lot of narcissists love bomb. They do that.
True.
That's
true.
a common method that they use.
True.
At the beginning of a relationship, they love bomb, and then they refrain.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, the whole concept of relationships, at least nowadays, is turned upside down. And the problem I have with narcissists in relationships, it's not that, like you said, they love bomb and then they withdraw, and the moment they find something else, they find themselves not receiving the same attention they did during the honeymoon phase, they straight up leave. The biggest problem I have is for the other person. Because if you date a narcissist, you love that person. In one way or another, you love that person. And when they break up with you, and like you said, they post 24/7, they hop from one relationship to another. The person who truly cares about that narcissist is left heartbroken to the point where they won't trust anyone again. Or they will, but it's gonna be an uphill battle to gain their trust, even if you have the purest of intentions. The problem for me is the narcissist, they get what they want. That's why they're a fucking narcissist. Yeah. But they do not give a damn about the other person.
Yeah.
And I really don't think you should be in a relationship, like you said. They just want validation, but I don't think you should be in a relationship if you're not ready to love the other person. And I really do have a huge problem with people who...
May I interject?
Yeah, of course.
I think that this applies to both.
Yeah.
Both to the narcissist and to the person who's about to start dating a narcissist. Because, let's say it's your first experience in a relationship. Mm-hmm. If you date a narcissist and you get your heart broken by the person, there's a huge chance that you'll also become a narcissist.
Oh, true.
Maybe
true.
not pathologically, but in regards to dating.
Yeah.
You'll become a bit more selfish, a bit more self-serving, egoistical in relationships.
If that's the only experience you have.
Yeah. It sets a bad example. Yeah. It sets a bad precedent. Because you think, okay, this is how relationships are. I'll continue doing this. Which you shouldn't. you should be stalwart when dealing with narcissists, but you need experience for that. You need to have some experience in relationships to know how to navigate them.
Yeah.
And if that's your first experience, yeah, it's a bit hard.
I really do believe in that relationships should be private. Love is private. It's between you and the other person.
And Allah.
Of course.
Inshallah.
But if you start posting all the time, if you start bragging all the time, maybe you brag because you've never had the kind of attention, and maybe it's because the other person is really amazing. And I do hope that's the case for you. I really do hope that's the case for you. But in most relationships, that's not the case. The problem is the moment you see someone displaying those narcissistic tendencies, you shouldn't be with the mentality, oh, I can change them, like, piece of cake. No.
You know what's funny? Whenever I see a couple post a photo online, I'm like, they're breaking up.
Yeah.
Gotta warm up. I gotta slide into some DMs soon. Oh boy, let's go.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
What do you mean that's completely legal?
I know it is, but
for moral
reasons, yeah. But the thing is, like, the moment you see those tendencies, you should start thinking about what's going on in that relationship. You shouldn't be like, oh, well, they were nice to me during the honeymoon phase. They're probably going to be nice to me for the rest of the relationship. And I can see myself living with them for the rest of my life. But most people, when the honeymoon phase ends and the partner that's narcissistic starts gaslighting you, starts mentally abusing you, starts playing the victim.
The usual.
Yeah, I mean...
The usual.
Just like salt and pepper,
Yeah.
They do not realize that those are narcissistic tendencies, and they're like, oh, well, maybe they're just going through a rough time. And a year goes by.
Yeah.
Well, a rough time doesn't last that fucking long. And you don't do stuff like that to a person that you truly care about. But then again, what do I know? I have not dated every single person in the world.
Not every single narcissist. And you should. For your mental health, you shouldn't.
I hope not.
2 to 3 is good enough. After that, it's a bit of a bother, know?
I mean, that's all I have to put out right now. If something else comes up, I mean, if you have something, then go ahead.
Whenever I talk about narcissists, it's just so exhausting.
It is.
Because, as I said earlier...
And it's hard to talk about yourself.
Yeah, I know, right? The hardest thing is to know thyself. What I was saying...
I'm sorry.
The first few times, like, you have experiences with a narcissist, it's like, okay, why are they doing this? You're perplexed, you're confused, like, okay, what's going on? But when you start getting used to them, it's like...
It's okay?
No, I remember myself of a meme that I want to use it as an example. Like, I think it was like that donkey meme where he's like looking directly at the camera. It's like a caption whenever, I don't know, a kid starts crying, whatnot. And that's just me whenever a narcissist starts bullshitting. I just look at them like... This is it. Like, the moment they start crying, manipulating, gaslighting, whatnot, I just look at them like, you done?
I mean, the problem is...
Just like kids, you know when kids, like, cry to get things?
You just start crying.
Yeah, eventually, you let them air it out. Because they'll have to eventually learn that crying won't get you things. The same happens with a narcissist. With the moment they start the bullshit, you just have to look them straight in the eyes and like, okay, is it all out now? Can we continue from here?
Now that you mentioned the whole crying thing, there were like videos of parents out crying their children. imagine if that
competitive crying. Let's go.
Imagine if
Where are
that
the tissues?
Imagine if that happened in a relationship like that. Oh, you're gonna be a narcissist. I'm gonna be a narcissist now. Like, please don't do that. Just get the fuck out of that relationship.
Oh, we have a problem. No, we don't. No, we don't.
You have a problem. I'm fine. No, but like,
oh god.
Imagine if that actually happened in a relationship. I'm
does.
sure it happens.
Does.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Look, there's like 8 billion people on this planet. It does happen. The chances that it isn't happening right now are very slim.
Yeah, true. But I don't know, do you have something else to add?
No, I'm good.
Then let us know what you think in the comments down below, and maybe if you like give us a good point, maybe we'll fucking comment back and
Yeah.
tell you why you're wrong.
Hey, give some video suggestions as well.
Those
That's
are
what we
always
wanna
welcomed.
hear. Yeah.
So we'll see you next time. Peace.